Tonight's bitching and complaining session is brought to you by the fact that the wind chill tonight will be about 10 degrees. It's already 30 degrees with like a 30-mile-an-hour wind. It's not even Christmas yet. I'm going to start a GoFundMe. I need 10 grand to move down to Florida permanently. This is bullshit.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Hi, Panther fans. Welcome to Florida Don't Start Another Losing Streak Challenge recap video. It's cold. My ears are cold. I've had the heat going on all day long. I'm in a crappy mood because that means I'm going to have to put another $500 worth of oil in the tank. Last year, I didn't need oil in the tank until like January. And I was hoping for a warmer winter, and instead we're getting way colder than it should be. So, and Philadelphia is only like 90 minutes away, so that's where everybody is. All right, enough of that. So what do we have? We got Spencer Knight and net, and I get it. Okay? I understand we're paid him too much money. We've all been over it and over it and over it and over it. Bob wasn't playing well. Spencer was. They were afraid Spencer was going to get an offer sheet, which he probably would have. Remember, this was before the assistance program. So we paid Spencer. What did I say? Go back all the way to all the reviews with Stu. I told you guys multiple times that Spencer's representation was going to tell the Panthers to pay him what he would have been getting paid had he had an opportunity to develop as a starter with another team. And that is exactly what happened. So, I get it. I understand the frustration. God forbid the kid has a bad game. Like, people are talking about he's been bad. The 5 starts before last night was 3 goals twice, 2 goals twice, and a shutout. It just so happens that both of those games he allowed 2 goals, we lost because we didn't score any goals. Not his fault. Rant over. All right. Other than that, there's a lot of talk. There's the rumor about the Panthers needing a defenseman. We talked about it a lot today on the noon live stream. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. We're limited on assets, right? We don't have a lot to give up. And we can't give up a defenseman because we already need a defenseman. And in terms of the forward group, the only guy on the roster that has any kind of salary cap implications if we were trying to remove cap that I would even consider remotely close to being replaceable is Rodriguez. Does removing Rodriguez from the forward group and adding a legitimate top 4 defenseman, do we win a cup with that? I don't know. You'd have to ask Jesper Boquist and Mackie Samoskevich because those are the 2 likely guys that would take Rodriguez's minutes unless we got another player. But again, we're so low on assets. So we'll have to wait and see how that all hangs out. There's all the talk about we don't know if we're going to re-sign Bennett. We don't know if we're going to re-sign Ekblad. Getting to 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row is difficult. Winning 2 cups in a row is difficult. So we got our backs up against the wall. What we need to do tonight is just get 2 points. Just take care of things. If you're not a fan of close standings, don't look at the Metro. Because I believe it is the Rangers in 4th place with 27 points and the Islanders in last place with 25 points. I don't know if you know math or not, but that's 1 game. So 1 game separates the 8 seed from last place in the Metro. So good luck to all of those teams fighting. Boston's going to get 3rd or 4th place in the Atlantic just by default because nobody else knows how to play hockey. So it's going to be, if you watched my season preview, I said it was going to be a dogfight for that last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Looks like that's going to be correct, except my dumbass thought the Senators would be good. Why are they bad? All right, Panthers, Last time you lost the game, you just kept losing. I'm not in the mood. It's too cold. It's too cold. We got late games next week. Kyle's not going to be here Saturday because he's going to his mom's. So I got to do the game by my... So we need 2 points tonight. Don't piss me off. Let's do this. All right, so 2-0. It works every time. Works every time. Just in passing, mention the imaginary trade of Rodriguez. Who scores first? Rodriguez. And then Mikula adds another one. The goalie for Philadelphia is like 6'7", but he couldn't bend down far enough, fast enough. He gets beat 5-hole. We've had a couple of other chances too. I can't praise the goaltender in the middle of the game, so I won't. But that said, so now Jesper Boquist is on the second line, and Rodriguez is on the third line. Now, how the Rodriguez thing came to be, real quick, is they asked me on the stream, and this is proof that Maurice listens to the show. They asked me on the noon stream if I had to absolutely trade one of the top 6 guys to get a defenseman, who would I pick? And I picked Rodriguez. So what did Maurice do? Moved him out of the top 6. So Boquist is on the second line. Rodriguez is with Lundell Luosterainen. Fourth line looks good. It's 2-0. It's 2-0. You know, we're not the best team in the league with 2-0 leads. So let's make it 3 quick. It was 3-0. We scored on the power play. It's 3-0. And now it's 4-4. We just allowed Owen Tippett. Who was he? Who that somebody always mentions that dude. I don't know who it is that always is talking about Tippett. Tippett just got 2 goals in 25 seconds. Because we suck on defense. It's not just defense, too. The first goal, not Tippett's, but the first goal that Philadelphia got, was the first one or the second one? No, the first one was top power play. The second goal, Luosterainen is along the boards in our own zone, and instead of sending the puck down the boards, he tries a weak little pass to the middle of the ice, which even my dead grandma knows you don't do in your own zone. He tries to get the puck to Lundell. It's intercepted. Boom, it's in the back of the net before Spencer can even know what the hell is going on. Then, down the ice they come again. And Ekblad, for some reason, he pulls a Mackenzie Weegar. Forsling has his man in the middle of the ice. Tippett is behind Ekblad. And for whatever reason, Ekblad leaves Tippett alone at the side of the net to go towards the dude that Forsling had. There's the pass to Tippett. Boom, it's in the back of the net. And then, again, we come down the ice. Nosek takes a shot. Philadelphia's defenseman gets the rebound. They start the fast break the other way. Mikula kind of tries to hold the puck in. It gets past them. 2-on-1 ensues. Tippett, just horrible. 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 All the way around. If you watch the second Tippett goal, you don't see anybody come back into the frame that would even remotely close to be covering him until Gadjevich is flying back into the frame. Kind of like what happened in overtime against Pittsburgh the other night when Chucky missed the net and boom, it was coming right back down the ice. The irony of this being against Spencer Knight, who we paid to keep, which I'm not complaining about in this moment, but we paid to keep him, and the price we paid was not being able to sign at least one of OEL or Montour, which Nate Schmidt's not exactly the problem right now, but we've been wildly inconsistent, whether it be 6 games of winning or 6 games of losing, or like we looked against Pittsburgh where we got asses kicked and then we come back. And then tonight we're kicking ass and then 4 goals in the second period. And maybe one of them was on Spencer Knight. Maybe the power play goal. The last 3 goals, he's got no chance. Tippett's alone on the side of the net. Everything's 2-on-1, 3-on-1. No chance. Doesn't matter what goalie's in the net with the defense playing like this. And when I say defense, I mean the collective group, the forwards. It's ass. And we talked about it a lot on the stream today, and it's like, what are you going to give? Who are you going to get? And we have plenty of forwards. Could we give up a forward? Maybe, but you lose OEL and Montour, and realistically, even though Schmidt's not bad, he's neither one of those 2 guys. And forget about Adam Boqvist being any kind of replacement for either one of those 2 guys. And Ekblad, if you notice, his beard's not black anymore. It's brown again, and now he sucks again. I really think that was an imposter in the number 5 uniform all those games, that he looked good. I'll save the rest for after the game. Maybe we win. Who knows? Who knows with this team? It's like the prize on the bottom of a Cracker Jack box. But if they lose, this recap going to be 45 minutes long. See how this goes. This is going to hurt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 points, and we finally have an actual third period comeback win. Not the way you would draw it up. Not the way we're ahead 3-0, and we ended up behind 5-4 in the third period, and then Forsling ties it. Reinhart gets the power play goal with less than 2 minutes left, I believe, and then Chicken Chuck gets the empty netter at the end for the touchdown, and the Flyers were pissed. They took some really stupid penalties there at the end of the game. I know they want to be the big bad Flyers and play tough and everything like that, but you would think that Torts would be a smart enough coach to have watched what happened to Boston when they took stupid penalties against the Panthers. We will make you pay. So there's that. Wow. Okay, so we're going to do this in sections. Spencer Knight, I don't want to hear it. All right? The last game wasn't great. Tonight is not on him. At least 3 of those goals are not on him. If you're going to leave Owen Tippett alone on the side of the net, the puck is going to be in the net. Okay? It's like leaving Verhaeghe alone on the side of the net. You know, I'm not saying Tippett is exactly Verhaeghe, but you get my point. When you get a score, you can't leave him alone on the side of the net. I don't want to hear it. Knight is fine. All right? What's not fine is the defense. That's what's not fine. Boqvist got stripped of the puck and held the stick to try to save the dude from getting a breakaway. I know Balinskis has had not so great of a couple of weeks, but leading up to that, he's been solid all the way through. Boqvist ain't him. All right? Adam Boqvist is just not the dude. He's just not. So he needs to go back to the bench. Let's get Balinskis in and at least settle that down a little bit. I'm not saying Balinskis is the second coming of Cale Makar either, but he had been pretty steady for us up into the last couple of weeks. But we're still short. We're still short a defenseman. And the unfortunate or the fortunate thing is that we can outscore our problems right now. But as we learned in the President's Trophy season, that works great in the regular season. But if we have to play Tampa in the first round with this defense, if Vasilevsky puts up a decent effort, we will not be playing the Leafs in the second round because we're not going to beat Tampa 7-5 every night. We got to settle this down. So what do we see? The top line, doing top line things. Verhaeghe would have had two, but he had one called back. Reinhart got the power play goal loose at the side of the net. Barkov got one on a ridiculous, obscene pass from Reinhart that actually, if they would have wanted to challenge that for just being that's not fair, they probably would have had that goal called back. Just for it not being fair that you got Reinhart and Barkov and Verhaeghe on the same line. It's really not fair, guys. Bennett, Kachuk, I'm not saying Chucky watches the videos. I'm not saying that. But let's just say maybe I called him Chicken Chuck one too many times because he's just like the last 4 or 5 games turned into, so we'll give you your name back, all right, Chucky? We'll give you your name back. But if you start screwing up again, you go back to Chicken Chuck. Third line looked pretty good. Lundell, Luster, except for the stupid thing from Luosterainen. That didn't look too good, but Rodriguez started the scoring off. Fourth line was not beautiful. Fourth line was not beautiful tonight at all. They were on the ice for one of the breakaway goals, and it kind of seemed like they were trying to do a little bit too much offensively and not focusing on doing what we need them to do, which is settle things down, right? We needed them to settle things down, and they're out there kind of, trying to have breakaways like the Lakers back in the 80s. Settle down, guys, all right? And again, I love Gadjevich, but every game that Matthew Samoskevich has been off the ice except for one we have lost, and that is the game that we had to win in the shootout. So there's that. Defensively, Forsling is never off the ice. So let's just start there. He almost had a fight at the end there because Bennett got cross-checked. Now, if I'm going to be honest, because I know there might be a Flyers fan here, if I'm going to be honest, Bennett got cross-checked. However, immediately preceding the cross-check, he kind of did cross-check a guy into the boards before that. So I'm not going to pretend that I didn't see that, but the refs didn't see it, so I guess it never happened. So Forsling almost got into a fight, but that gave us the next power play. Forsling gets a goal. So unfortunate part with that is that the brown-haired Ekblad is back. I think he colored his beard, and it was really bright, dark black for a few games, and it gave him like superpower. But now it looks like the color is fading. I'm not making this up, by the way. I'm not making this up. The dude's beard got darker for about a week, and he looked great. And now it's lighter shade, and he sucks again. Color the beard once a week, Aaron. I'm just saying. I'm not making that up. The other thing is, Maurice is doing the thing again. I don't blame him, but for whatever reason, Mikola Schmidt keeps getting broken up in the middle of the game, and Mikola putting Boquist with Mikola, but Schmidt's been playing well. So I don't know if Maurice is putting Boquist with Mikola because he wants somebody to babysit Boquist, or he wants Schmidt to settle down the bottom pair. But he's done that 2 games in a row now, and it ain't working. No matter where he puts Boquist, he's a liability. I'm sorry. It's that should be over. All right, we need 2 defensemen. It should be Forsling, Ekblad, Mikula, new guy, Kulikov, Schmidt, with Balinskis at 7D and somebody else other than Boquist at 8D. I'm sorry. That's just I've thought that way. I've tried giving Boquist a chance after chance after chance. Other than he's got a decent shot, I don't see it there. I don't see anything there. So, and he circled all the way back to the goaltenders. I'm not going to sit here and worry about Spencer Knight. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. Okay? We already made the decision. All right? I'm not the general manager. We made the decision. You know what I said. We gave him the money before. All right? Now we've decided to keep him because that was the decision Zito made. Whether or not he tried to trade him during the offseason or tried to trade Ekblad during the offseason, both guys are kind of untradeable. Everybody in the league can see what Ekblad is. And with Spencer Knight, nobody was really going to take him until they saw what he could do in the NHL. All right? And I understand people get upset with his inconsistencies, but that's what happened to young. That is what happens to young goaltenders who don't get a chance to play on a real regular basis. Pretty much 100% across the board. All right? So, he's the guy. All right? He's the backup. He's the guy we're rolling with. And he's probably going to be here again next year. Then Bob and Spencer's contract both come up at the same time. And at that point, if we could have managed to win a second or even miraculously a third cup, nobody will care. Okay? Those goals tonight, for the most part, were not on Spencer Knight. You leave freaking Owen Tippett, of all players, alone in front of the net twice in 25 seconds. I don't want to hear it. All right? I just don't. We got way bigger problems to worry about Spencer Knight. You put Spencer Knight in when the defense is playing well, and you get what you got the previous 5 games, which was 3-3, 2-2, and a shutout. Okay? All of a sudden the defense is ass again, and all the goalies are going to be giving up 4 or 5 goals. So we get the 2 points. That's what's important. We finally have a come-from-behind win, even if we had to come from behind our own ass after, 3-0, and we blow the lead. 3-0, we blow the lead. That's not good. And it's a collective effort. Somehow, whatever the hell is going on in the second periods, that's got to stop. That absolutely has to. It's just inexcusable. Unexcusable, inexcusable, both. Either or. Take your pick. There's no excuse for it. A goal, a second goal, okay. But going from 3-3 to 5-4, that can't happen. That's got to stop happening. All right. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. I don't know what Zito's going to do. I don't know what you do with this mess on defense. I really don't. We don't have a first, a second, or a third round pick this year's draft. So if you start talking about dealing picks, you start, next year and the year after. Sordev? Nobody's banging on the door for Sordev. You're talking about needing a top 4 defenseman and needing another team to retain salary. Sordev in a first. Maybe. A top 4 defenseman, maybe a Sordev in a first. But then what are we giving up to retain for them to retain the salary? We're in a bind. We're in a real bind. Now, I would feel fine with Schmidt permanently on the third pair. Could we survive with him on the second pair? Maybe. I don't know why Maurice keeps moving him down to the third pair. Schmidt has been good. I really feel like he's moving Boquist up so Mikula can babysit him. It feels that way. It doesn't make any sense anyway otherwise. Maurice isn't stupid. I don't know how we get a top 4 defenseman, a legitimate top 4 pairing for Mikula, No, you can't give up Sam Miskevich. He's going to be too good in the future. He's too good now. You can't. You know what I mean? We already got rid of the first round draft pick that would be an eventual 25, 30 goal guy, and he scored 2 goals against us tonight. So you can't do it again. At some point, you have to keep your guys. And if you even if I said go ahead and move Knight for a defenseman, that still leaves you needing a backup goalie, right? And it completely removes, your future, unless you're gonna, roll with Matt Guzda in a couple of years, who's not even played yet in the NHL, basically. So, you have to think long term with these things too. It's you're trying to win a second cup. You're trying to get to the cup 3 years in a row, but you also don't want to completely sell out the future to do it, because you've got a good core for the future. Chucky is still young. Lundell, Luosterainen, Sam Miskevich, eventually St. Martin. If we don't get rid of Sachin, we could have a solid window here for quite some time. For Hagee's not old. Reinhardt is, we could still hang out for another 5 or 6 years if we play it right. So you got to be careful with the moves that you start thinking about making. And you don't want to give up too much in the sense of assets, because after this season, if you just let Ekblad walk, you have plenty of cap space to probably get 2 solid defensemen. So you don't want to start trading away key possible pieces to the core in 3 or 4 years for 1 year now of one defenseman. That would it make the team we have now? If you added 1 top 4 defenseman, are we for sure? I mean, does that guarantee us another cup? No, I don't think so. Right now, if it was Forsling, Ekblad, Mikkola, OEL, Schmidt, Kulikov, I'd feel pretty good about that, actually. I'd feel pretty good about that, considering the ridiculous amount of offense we have. So come on, Toronto, give us back our guys. Give us back our guys. I will make that trade. I'll make that trade. Spencer Knight for Stolars and OEL. I'll make that deal. We'll even throw in Ekblad, but you get him next year. So, all right, we get to 2 points. That is what matters tonight. We won't pretend like we don't have some defensive issues. It's crazy. But we do. But I'm going to go rescue the hockey stream from Kyle watching the football game. He's so loud. He's distracting me. He's so loud about the football game. He's excited. He clinched his playoff spot in the fantasy league, so he's happy. All right, I will be live tomorrow at noon for your therapy session, and then Kyle will not be here Saturday night, so you have to deal with me the incomplete night against the Sharks, which we just better not. Just don't. Just don't do it, Panthers. Not against San Jose. That can't happen. All right. Deuces.